decision. I'll face the sunny side head on. I had a vision of what it might be like.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to our special guest episode of the week with Jimmy Pardo, Never Not Funny podcast, host of Never Not Funny.
Yes. Hello. I was taken aback. I was putting a drink down and I panicked. I panicked like I've never done radio before or podcasting.
I thought the way he looked at you was like, that's not what my podcast
I
is
know.
called. I was
Oh.
like, I think it is.
I got to be honest. Here's what I thought was going to happen. And now that we put it on me, I thought there was more coming. And you just kind of stopped. And then I was like, oh, I guess, okay, I'll jump in. So I will take full blame because I'm a failure.
No.
In life, as a husband, as a father. So here we go.
I could have said, podcast pioneer.
Sure.
Been doing it since 2006.
Comedian.
Yes.
Writer.
No, that's the
Big-time
one thing I'm really
comedian.
not.
You're not?
No, I'm not.
Really?
I don't have that skill. That's the one skill I don't have, and boy, do I wish I had it. But because I envy the guys that can tighten the screws on things and write great jokes, but I can't do that.
All right, let's go back to the beginning.
Okay.
Because I know you from stand-up like a million years ago.
Yes.
Which
And
would
your wife.
require writing.
Well, yes. I mean, one would argue I write on stage. If
Okay.
we're going to get into the nooks and crannies of stand-up, I don't sit down. I don't. It's been probably 30 years since I sat down at a desk to write a piece of material.
Got it.
Because I don't know how to do that. And when I did it, it looks like a 12-year-old kid's journal. Like, it's horrible. It's not funny. It's not entertaining. There's I don't know. There's like no jokes. You would think, like, boy, this poor son of a bitch isn't going to be in comedy. Like, it's that bad.
Okay.
So I improvise most of my sets. So
Right.
From the beginning, like from the get-go, did you get up on stage and did you just have like, oh, here's some
Well,
funny ideas?
I
and I'm
had
gonna
funny
see what
ideas,
happens.
yeah, and then I, as an open micer, got really loose and would be kind of, their words, not mine, kind of the king of the open mics around Chicago. Like, I would be the guy that would go up and kill because I would just improvise and just be funny. And then I started getting bookings way too
Not
soon.
a lot of improv in Chicago.
There's a big spot, but I avoid. I did take classes there right out of high school, but
Really?
I did, and to this day, I wonder if I was if I'm the most famous guy to come out of my class, and if so, that's a shame for the rest. Or is somebody else in my class? Like, I don't know. Like, was I in class with Tina Fey, and I don't know it? You know what I mean? Like one of those deals.
Right.
But so I did improv as a open micer. Got booked, wasn't ready to be booked. Should not have been booked. Way too soon. Quit my day job way too soon, and then took it very seriously, like stupid seriously, and went, well, now I got to write an act. I have to have an act. They're paying me money, and it sucked. It was horrible. For years, it was horrible.
Really?
But I could work around it and do the Johnny Carson, the joke bombed. I can save it with the improv and be funny with that and do some crowd work and stuff. And before crowd work, all of a sudden is the thing to do for people. I don't know what's happening in stand-up these days, but
so this was still in Chicago.
this was in Chicago. Yeah, I was
Okay.
there for. I'll give you the timeline. My first open mic was October of '88. I quit my day job. I got my first booking in March of '89. I quit my day job in July of '89. So I wasn't even a
Wow.
year in, and I
That's
quit.
nice.
Wow.
Because I had I quit a great job at MCA Records, the record label.
Yeah.
And then
What were you doing there?
I was a sales rep, and but it was the dream job. I had been in record stores, and then it was a dream job to work for a record label. At least for me, it was at the time. And I'm hanging out with Elton John and Tom Petty and all these, the MCA.
My friend
finalist.
passed away.
Who?
Worked at MCA Records.
What?
Jennifer Popkin.
No, but I
She
wish
was
I
out,
did.
Were you out there?
I was in Chicago, but we
yeah,
had
she was-
we would come to Universal Studios for the big convention every year.
Yeah.
And so I got to meet the other MCA people.
right. Maybe
But
it
it was an amazingly, it was a crazy job. I'm hanging out with rock stars.
I want that job now.
I know, right?
Like,
Yeah.
could you,
Going
do
to
you know
concerts
anybody?
and making a ton of money.
was right.
And I quit that to do comedy to make $150 a week.
What?
And here we are. So
Why did you have to quit? Like, why couldn't you do both?
Oh, I'll tell you why. My boss one day, a guy named Jim Haldeman, not the guy that worked for Nixon, He to this day I don't understand this. He was hated. Everybody in the office hated him. I didn't. I thought he was fine. In fact, I want to meet up with one of those people someday and have them explain to me why everybody hated Jim Haldeman, because I really to this day don't know why. But he came to me and he said, we have to have a meeting. All right, here's the deal. And by the way, he's not wrong. I was not doing my job. I was using my office to book comedy gigs. And then I wasn't going to my accounts because I would be doing gigs at night, either open mics or paid. And so he said, you have to make a decision. You have to decide between stand-up or this. And, because this is a real job. And I said, okay, give me till the morning. And he looked like I was out of my mind. Like, what? No, the answer is you're going to stay here. What are you doing? And everybody in the office had come to see me do stand-up maybe 2 weeks prior. And I bombed at death of all deaths. Like one of those bombs where like they wouldn't make eye contact with me on Monday. Like it was that effing bad.
Like you got drunk at the Christmas party.
Yes, it was that horrible.
Right.
And so the next day I came in and I told my boss I was going to quit. I was going to give my 2 week notice. And so we were having our morning meeting around the conference table. And my boss said, all right, before we get started, I just wanted to let you know, I was Jim at the time. Jim has just given his 2 week notice. He's going to pursue a career in stand-up comedy. And the look on everybody's face was like, what? This is right. He can't, he's horrible. What are we talking about? He can't do that. And here I am. So, and I don't know what they're doing. Again, I don't, maybe they're all gazillionaires with app companies. I don't know. So
it's funny because when I first moved to LA and for a while I was doing temp work. And my dream, like I would tempt at Warner Brother Records, RCA, like these different record companies, sometimes just for a day. But it was like, I temped at RCA Records for 6 months.
Yeah.
For a guy named Bruce Floor, who was like a big A&R. I temped in the A&R department, and I was like,
that's the
this
department
is
to be
the
in.
dream.
Yes.
Got so much free shit
Yes.
all the time. And I was like, oh God, if I could just convince one of these bosses to like, I would take any job here. And I never did. Every single time I'd be like, if there's ever an opening, like I'll do anything here.
Right.
I'll work in the mailroom. Nope, never got, I mean, I can't believe like you had that job.
I did,
yeah.
and I had it, and I obviously threw it away, but not really because I had my quote unquote dreams. But
it didn't work out for you.
No, I'm
just
having
kidding.
a tough time. I'm trying to get back. I hope the record business comes back so they'll hire me again. I was 20 when they hired me at MCA. And so when I walked in, I was a kid.
Yeah.
And these older folks that had been there for years, like, and some people didn't get a promotion to the job that I was hired for.
Oh,
boy.
And they were mad at me. Like, who's this kid that just walks in and gets this job? Not knowing that I would easily have switched with them. I would have been the guy to go to record stores and put up posters. I would have been happy to do that job for less money because that's fun. There's no quotas. There's no sales meetings. There's none of that. And so it was a weird time. I mean, I loved it because again, as you know, Stef, from the experience of working there, it's the record business, and that's my thing. I'm into 80s music and classic rock, so I got to work during that time, and yeah.
Okay, so you stay in Chicago. You're making like gig money.
Yeah, making $150 a week.
And then but things are going well.
I mean, I'm working every week, but I'm doing horrible gigs. I'm doing, I'm not doing the A clubs because I'm not good yet. But but I'm getting booked every week, so I have the delusion that I don't know. I guess I was successful. I mean, I'm getting paid to do my dream. But
what was your first TV show?
Oh, first TV show was Caroline's Comedy Hour.
Mine was evening.
92? 92.
We were at the same, like we started around the same
When did you
time.
start?
I probably did my first time on stage maybe like 89 or 88.
Right. So
maybe?
yeah, it's right in the same ballpark.
Yeah.
And did you do Caroline's as well?
I did not, but I did evening at the Improv.
Oh, you did?
My very first TV thing was Star Search.
What?
Yeah, I did Star Search, and I did I didn't do well.
Who did you go up against? Do you remember?
Keith Michael Ashton. Do
Nope.
you remember that name?
I don't.
Taylor Swift.
She's not a comedian.
Oh, sorry.
Although a wonderful performer.
What if she did do stand up and she beat me?
Oh, you had to
on
go
Star-
up against your own category.
Yeah,
That's
comedy.
right.
Yeah. So I got 2 3/4 stars. It was very embarrassing. I didn't even have a bad set though.
2 3/4 isn't bad on there.
It's pretty bad.
Out of 4?
Yeah. Out of 4. Yeah, it was bad.
You're up against the 3 named
Keith
dude.
got
You can't compete.
3.5 stars.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So I lost on my very first first like night, like first time.
But
so
how you were just starting?
I had been doing it a couple years.
That's
Yeah.
still you're
Yeah.
still you know that you're still
Yeah.
green.
Oh,
You're
yeah,
still
I
finding your voice.
Yeah, it was still
You can't
basically
be-
my open mic set.
Right.
Yeah. But and then my next TV show was Evening at the Improv. So I'm with you. Yeah. Okay. So and how did that go? Caroline's.
Fine, I guess. I don't know.
Were you nervous?
Oh, sure. Yeah. It was one of those. I don't know how you felt on your first TV experience. Mine was like one of those out of body experiences. Like I don't remember being on stage, and then I had to wait until it came on TV so I could remember kind of what happened that night.
It's all blur.
But I think it went okay. I mean, for where I was as a comic, I think I was in my. I'm still kind of finding my voice stage. That was still pretty early on. I'm only 3 years in, I guess, at that point, maybe
Right.
3.5 years. And I had a little bit of Dennis Leary in me at that time. So I had a lot of, I got 2 words for you, do, idiot, with no punchline, just, you ranting. And I take down Barry Manilow in that set for some reason. I love Barry Manilow.
Barry get hurt.
Barry gets hurt in the middle of my set for no reason whatsoever.
What?
It was about the whole
love
thing
him.
about the suicide. Remember when they blamed Judas Priest for those kids that committed suicide
yeah.
with the backmasking?
Oh yeah.
And so I said, that's why everything. I don't remember the premise. That's why it's on CD. That's why I listen to music on CD, because I'm going to tell you, if I'm going to kill myself, I want to listen to Barry Manilow nice and crisp before I tape, or whatever the joke was.
Right.
And it killed at the time. But then I would go back to my hotel and go, why am I hurting Barry Manilow? Like, I like that guy. I like his music. I like, he's a great entertainer, but
Yeah.
I had to be hip and cool and
Copa.
edgy. It's a
Yeah.
great song.
Yeah. I saw him in concert not that long ago.
I'm going to tell you something.
Like in the last 2 years.
I've seen him 4 times in the last 2 years. My son and I have gone.
Hollywood Bowl.
Yeah,
Did
we
you
were
go to
there.
the Hollywood
Bowl, the
Yeah.
Greek. We went to see his Christmas show, my son and I, which is the delight
that's
because it's all
cool.
of Barry Manilow's hits
Right.
and Christmas songs. Who the
Right.
hell wouldn't like that? It's a joy.
You've come a long way. You've come full circle on this.
Yes.
So okay,
Yes.
so you're this is still in Chicago. You're
I'm still in Chicago. I did not move to Los
Where'd you
Angeles till
move?
95.
Okay. So
And
then
what-
you moved to LA,
And
not New
what,
York.
What brought you out here?
I did a showcase for CBS television in Detroit for a guy named Eric Fagan, who you might remember.
I remember.
Yeah,
of course
booked the
I
Improv
do.
and booked the Evening at the Improv for a while.
Yes.
He was doing a talent search for CBS, saw me in Detroit, said, hey, we're doing this again next week in Chicago. I want to see you again in Chicago. Because here's what happened. The first night I went up, and a guy named Kirk Noland decided not to do 7 minutes, but to do 20, and destroyed, like blew the roof off the place, and I had to follow him. And I'm chewing it. I'm bombing miserably. And then I just went, F this, and just started ragging on the night, like how stupid the whole premise was, like that we're all there hoping that this one man can make our dreams come true. And all of a sudden it switched, and all of a sudden the audience loved me, and I'm killing. And I came off, and he said that, again, I want to see you in Chicago, but since that set was all improvised, I want to see you do a real set in Chicago. And I had a prime spot in Chicago, destroyed. He got me a meeting with CBS. It didn't amount to anything, but then he became my manager. And then he said, but in order to manage you, you got to move to LA. And so I was planning on moving here in 96, but then his management, him managing me, we moved in 95. And I moved here in late January of 95. He had a nervous breakdown in March of 95 and quit the business.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
I think the
Wow.
stress of handling my career is what took him down.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I know. So then all of a sudden I'm out here with like, no guidance, nothing. Like,
Right.
what do I do? I don't know how to go to, I know how to do this, but I didn't know how to do this because going to the Improv and the Comedy Store and the Laugh Factory, that seemed like real comedy as opposed to what I had been doing. And so I needed, without the guidance, it took me a little while to find my footing, but a lot of booze helped with that.
Yeah, I bet.
Been sober 24 years.
Did I know that?
I think maybe, because you're sober a long time too.
Congratulations.
I'm sober 14 years.
Congratulations.
Yeah, going on 15. Yeah,
Good for you.
thank you.
And I'm going on
Good for you.
25.
Wow,
Thank you.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I was a drunk for most of the 90s.
Wow.
I would
Well,
say.
same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's comedy's lonely and
Yes, of course.
this town can be a little scary and
yeah.
I have a whole chapter in my book that I'm going to come on your podcast for to talk about drunkish.
Right.
It's a whole book about getting sober,
Right.
and I have a whole chapter about stand up.
You do.
And the relationship to drinking,
You do.
and how I blamed a lot of my drinking on stand up. Like, well, I have to drink because like I need it to, it's so hard to be a comedian. I had a lot of stage fright. I don't know about you, but I had a lot of anxiety and I never loved the performing part. I only liked the having been on stage. And I liked writing the jokes but I hated the idea that you just never knew if you were going to bomb. Like the feeling of bombing is so awful.
Oh, it's horrible.
That I had to always like anesthetize myself against so that I wouldn't feel it as much. Because, but then you also don't ever get used to performing really crisp.
No, you're numb the whole time. Right.
Yeah.
And that's a great way to put it. Sorry, I'm off mic. That you're not performing crisp. That's a great way to put it. And I felt the same way. Like I would have a beer on stage. And I don't know if I needed it as much as it was a crutch, like
right.
Just something to hold on to. And then I started drinking enough where I was getting a little tipsy on stage. And then when I did quit, all of a sudden it was like performing crisply. And it was like, oh, this is how it's supposed to be. And all of a sudden, I was sharper and I'm funnier and I'm faster. And
nice.
But I blame it a little bit on stand-up. I stand-up on my drinking as well. But mostly the after the show of being alone and not really having any, you have the other comics to hang out with, but they were all getting drunk too. You're at the comedy club. They're giving you free drinks until they close because they're a bunch of 22-year-old kids that manage a club. Like, so it was really more out of boredom, but I took full advantage of it.
Yeah.
And drank a lot.
So you got sober at a time where a lot of comedians got sober.
Is that true?
I feel like there's a big group of you.
Oh.
I'm not going to out anybody, but I'm just saying like around your time, there's like a lot of sober,
I wonder who they are, and I'd like to meet them and hear me out. I'd like to wrestle with them. I think that's the best way to handle this, is right? Is that we get on the mat and just take it down.
Take it down. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're doing stand up.
Yes.
Now you're starting to get TV gigs.
Mm-hmm.
You did the Tonight Show. You've done the Tonight Show.
I did the Tonight Show in 2000.
Right?
It's going to be 25 years ago.
Oh,
which
wow.
is insane. 2002. I was the third comic on after 9/11. I believe it was.
Really?
I believe so. I believe it was Drew Hastings, Tammy Pescatelli, and then me. I believe, and those two got standing ovations.
Drew Hastings is
out of his skull.
Yeah.
But hysterical. But now he's nuts.
Oh my God, he was the funniest guy.
Yes.
I went to see his one-man. He did a one-man show.
Great, right?
Right?
Yeah.
This guy, Drew Hastings, who you will laugh so hard watching his act, but he went like off the deep end. He became the mayor of a town in Ohio.
Yes.
And then he got so far to the right that he's like very openly like racist and
Yeah, he's nuts.
He's nuts.
He was always conservative, but now that the doors have been opened for these whack jobs to say they're call people vermin, he's one of them. He's gone crazy.
Yeah.
He used to call me all the time, Jimmy, I got a problem. I booked in Michigan, but I've just been offered a gig down in Kentucky. Do I take the higher paying gig or do I honor the contract? I'd go, Drew, I don't know. Honor the contract or take that. I don't know. What do I know? And thank you, Jimmy. A lot of help. And then he'd hang up on me. That was at one time a good Drew Hastings impression.
It was.
But I was going to say, they got standing ovations and I bombed miserably.
On the Tonight Show?
Oh, it's horrible.
What?
Oh, it's horrible.
I love stories like
Horrible.
this. I'm sorry, but so I mean,
right?
It's hard to bomb on TV. But it was because it was after.
No, you know what? I don't know what it was. The show just.
And you must have been so
who was hosting
excited.
back then?
Jay
Was
Leno.
Jay
It
Leno?
was Jay.
Okay.
And Jay went up and his monologue. I mean, if he got one laugh during his monologue, I'm exaggerating. It bombed miserably. It was horrible.
Okay, so then you're in good company.
And then they had Dane Cook do a remote on Universal City Walk. Like,
Yeesh.
hey, let's go to Dane to do like a version of jaywalking, but his own Dane version.
Okay.
Tank top wearing, way to go,
Bro.
And backward hat wearing nonsense. I'm not a Dane basher, but this thing bombed. So Jay bombs, Dane's thing bomb. I'm in the makeup chair, and Jay comes backstage and he's yelling at somebody.
Oh no!
And the makeup lady closes the door and goes, "Oh, that never happens." And I go, "Really?" She goes, "No, Jay never yells at people." And I'm like, "Uh-oh, well, this is what a great night to be here." Yeah. And then the first guest was like this mad scientist or something who, taught us how to make something with crackers and baking soda, like that stupid stuff. Where Jay, hey, what are you doing over there? Oh, you crackers? Mm-hmm. And what you do? And so that bombs. And then Marissa Tomei was on. And
Oh, so the mad scientist got first billing before Marissa Tomei?
Yeah, Dennis Leary canceled last minute, and they got this guy.
Okay.
So it was 2 segments with this professor that's chewing it.
No.
Oh, no.
And then Marissa Tomei goes up, and she was promoting some drama. I forget the drama. It was a great drama where her husband dies, and she's got to live with her in-laws or something. Remember that movie? It was really great.
I can't.
And she was great.
Okay.
And in the movie. And so then I'm looking at the clock, and I'm like, oh, this audience blows. Oh, they're going to bump me. Oh, I hope they bump me. Oh, they got to bump me. There's no time for my set. And they come back, Ross Mark and, I forget the other guy's name, Bob Reed. They come back and they go, okay, here's the deal. There's 4.5 minutes left. Your set's timing out at 4.5 minutes. If it goes any longer, we're going to give you the cut sign and just stop at whatever joke you're at.
Oh, no.
On television?
On television. And I go, well, how about this, fellas? How about if we just bump me, right? And he goes, Jay doesn't want to do another segment with Marissa Tomei. And I'm like, okay, that's fair. The first segment was a snooze. And so I went up, and my first 2 minutes, and I'm not kidding, you hear my wife and my friend Mike, and that's it.
Oh, no.
And then the last 2 minutes were okay. But there was no worry of me going over my time. I'm not getting any laughs to fill it. And then I come over, and Jay's like, hey, good job, Jimmy. And then Marissa doesn't know how to move. And he goes, hey, Marissa, make a little room for Jimmy there. And then I sit down, and they go, we got to go. Good night, everybody. And then Jay doesn't say a word to me from that second until this day.
Oh,
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. He can...
So
Wow.
you never get another chance? Never get another bite at that apple?
They claimed that I could come back anytime I wanted to, but the fact that here's the thing, Jay didn't bond with me after the show. Like, I'm not saying we should go out for drinks, but I'm saying as fellow comedians, he should have taken a second to go.
Sure.
Hey, you know what? They're great, best crowd, but you know what? The stuff was good. You know, he should have said something. Instead, he iced me as if like he wanted to distance himself from how bad my set was. And I think that's a dickhead move. I just wasn't. So to this day, I'm not thrilled with Jay.
That's not cool.
But then, so you ended up at Conan.
I did.
Yeah.
Was that shortly after?
No, that was 2002. And then I did. Conan came in 2009.
Oh.
When he took over the Tonight Show. Mm-hmm. When Conan moved from New York to L.A. 2 days before. We were doing a test show at Universal with the Tonight Show starring Conan O'Brien. I got a phone call saying, do you want to do warm-up? And my answer was, no, I do not want to do warm-up. I've come out here to host, not be somebody's warm-up. And my manager's like, take the meeting. And then I took the meeting, and like I'm sitting in the meeting going, well, how do I not take this job? I mean, growing up, my dream was to host the Tonight Show. Mm-hmm. And here I am. I'm going to get to be on the Tonight Show stage every single night. I'm not on camera, but who knows? Maybe I will.
Right.
And so I took the gig, doing warm-up for the Tonight Show with Conan O'Brien. We lasted, what were we on, 9 months, and then we all got fired because Jay wanted his job back. And those headlines, I got to read themselves. And it was great. And I found the right people, and working for Conan was a delight. And then we had the 7 months off in between the Tonight Show and then him on TBS.
Right.
And where they graciously paid me out of their pocket.
Wow.
Like, they didn't have to. I was a local hire. They could have just said, hey, things happen, show business. But they took care of me the same way they took care of the New York people. And because, they all moved out here and bought homes and stuff.
Yeah.
And I thought, it's the Tonight Show. We're going to have a job for 30 years.
Exactly.
And then 9 months later, we're like, uh-oh.
Yeah, wow.
And so... and then we went to TBS, and the vibe was completely different. It was much looser. I found my footing. I ended up doing some remotes for Conan, being a guest, filling in for Andy Richter. So, getting hired by Conan O'Brien, honestly, was the greatest thing to happen to me. I'm very, very grateful for that job.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm
lucky.
Big fan.
So what year did you start your podcast?
2006.
You have a big podcast.
Yeah.
It's very successful. Also, I want to talk about this thing that you do, which is for charity, the Smile Train. He does
Nice.
like a telethon, like a
12-hour telethon, yeah.
Yes.
How did you come up with that? What made you were you already like interested in this charity?
Yes.
I want to hear about this because it's such a cool thing and it's been really successful and you've been doing it for a long time.
Yeah, we've raised $1.5 million for them.
Wow. Wow.
Isn't that insane?
And that's the I mean, that's the fans that donate the money. You know, I
Right.
mean, that's
yeah, but you're still doing
I'm
it.
doing it. It's all me. I'm the hero. There's no question. And you're welcome, children. Smile Train's a great organization that goes to third world countries and does the surgeries to fix cleft palates.
Right.
And each surgery only costs $250. So basically, if you donate $250, you could change a child's life. And I saw that, honestly, on the back of Parade magazine.
Really?
And I donated money, and then a guy who used to be involved with our show, and he's not anymore, named Pat Francis, my former roommate, he came in just coincidentally that day and said, hey, I just donated money to this Smile Train. And I said, I just donated money to Smile Train. And so then that happened. And then we're talking one day, like, you know, podcasting was still kind of, we were all trying to kind of finding our footing. I mean, it was, you know, it was me and Adam and The Onion and Ricky Gervais. That was kind of it. And so, like, I was the #1 podcast in the world at one point. And
Really?
I think now I'm number 1,212 or something. Like, it's, you know.
Those were early days.
They were early
yeah.
days. And Smartless is, of course, just crushing us all. So we were just, honestly, just trying to find a gimmick and a hook. So
when you started it,
Yeah.
though, like, I just want to go back for a second,
ahead.
because when you started the podcast, was it just you?
It was me and a guy named Matt Bell, who was still my co-host and producer, Matt Belknap. He came to me and said, I was doing a live show at the UCB Theater, a live talk show.
Oh, okay.
And Matt came to me. He was just a fan. And he said, hey, would you want to do a podcast? You know, I'll produce it and you do it. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know what that is. Okay. Because I was always behind on any sort of trend that was happening.
Oh, I
Facebook,
still am.
MySpace. I'm an old man. I don't
My
get it.
daughter tells me about
Right?
new social platforms, like, and I'm like, I don't even know what that is.
I know.
She's like, oh yeah, it's already over.
It's already over. And
Right.
I'm on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's that was me with MySpace. I'm in, guys. It's over. Scram. So it was a gimmick. I loved growing up. I loved watching the Jerry Lewis telethons and wondering, like, who's going to come on at 4 a.m. Is it going to be Stephen 80? Is it going to be some horrible jugglers? Who's going to be on? I loved it. So I said, let's do that. Let's do it all night. Sort of. So we started our first one was in 2009. We started at 9:00 p.m. and went to 6 a.m. And we had people like John Hamm came by and stayed like for 6 hours.
He did?
Yeah, it was.
We love John Hamm.
John's been a great friend to me and our show since like 2008.
He was really funny in Bridesmaids.
He was great.
He's funny in everything.
Yeah,
and
he's
when he
people
does
don't
drama,
realize how
he's
funny-
great.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh my God. I mean, he was so great in Mad Men, but he's also just so funny.
Yes, it's infuriating.
Yeah.
It's so
He's
Mad
too
Men.
handsome to be that funny, and I'd like him to suck at something, and he doesn't.
He doesn't.
Hey, you want to go golfing? Oh, okay. And then he, shoots par. It's like, come on, man, you got to be bad at something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are you in his football league?
I am not. I'm not a
Fantasy?
football guy.
Oh, okay.
I'm not a
Okay.
football guy.
All right.
But that's how that started.
Okay, so then you did like so then
So we did that with that first one. I forget what we raised that night. It might have been just like $6,000 or
was
something.
it live? Or
Yeah. We streamed it live.
Okay.
Yeah. Which and
Do we have
2009
that
was a
ability,
thing.
Caitlin?
Yes,
How do you go live?
you do.
Yeah.
On YouTube?
Technically, we could, I think.
Yeah.
So it was video. You were going live, like
Yeah, it was video.
streaming on-
My brother-in-law, who's since passed away, was the video producer, and he shot it. And he was there, and he was our video producer until he passed away in 2010.
So was it on YouTube then?
I couldn't tell you for $1 million. It was somewhere.
must have been,
I think
right?
it's on
Something like
YouTube
that.
now when we do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't concern myself with the technical stuff because I'm an idiot.
I mean, I am too. I don't understand any of how it works.
I'm the buffoon that shows up and talks. That's it.
Yeah.
And I do other things, but I don't know the technical stuff. No. If those guys both, if Matt and now a guy named Elliot's our video guy, if they walked in today and said, "We're sick of your shit, we're leaving," I would go, "Great. Now I'll make all the money, but I don't know how to do anything. I would
Right.
have to. It would be a disaster.
Right.
I wouldn't know what to do."
So you started the Smile Train telethon early in the podcast.
Yes.
As a gimmick, as like a hey, let's get on the map.
to try to get some press
Win,
or whatever.
Yeah.
You raise money. You get press.
And it worked a little bit.
worked.
It worked. We
Yeah.
got. I think some people found us because of that, and I don't know how many people found us because of Podcastathon, but it's certainly been a success, and I'm very, very grateful to the fans for donating the money and the celebrities that come by and hang out with us. I have a different celebrity on every 20 minutes, and
That's awesome.
They come,
Every 20 minutes?
yeah, and they come for free. You know,
Wow.
Like in the middle of the night when you're
yeah,
recording.
we do it now. We haven't done it since before we did one online during the pandemic, but we haven't done it since 2019, I guess. But it would be, they come on. We do it from noon to midnight.
Oh, okay.
So
that's good.
after a few years, Lynette, I realized why am I doing this at 4 a.m?
Exactly.
Why can't we shift this 12 hours
Right.
to when people are awake?
Right.
Right.
And,
right. Well, because you had it in your mind.
I
that
did.
That's like
That's
how the
what I
Jerry
wanted.
Lewis.
Exactly.
That's how telethons
Yeah.
are. That
Yeah.
that if in the middle of, you stay up as late as you can, and then
Right.
you wait. Who's on? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but then we saw like, nobody's donating at 3:30 in the morning,
Right.
and
Right.
nobody. So
Right.
why don't we do this when New York's awake? Why don't we
Yeah.
do it when England can see at some point? And
Right. Smart.
and it works. I mean, it's been, like I said, knock on wood, it's been successful, and I'm glad that we could raise that money for.
Who are some of the other names you've had on?
Oh,
John?
geez. Rob Ryder, one of my heroes. I was thrilled to have
wow.
Rob on.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that was craziness. John, like I said, John's a regular. Conan used to do the show a lot. Now he's busy with his own thing. Who else? We had Ace Frehley of Kiss, which was a big,
Wow, that's
being a
cool.
music nerd.
Yeah.
Jimmy Pankow of Chicago, Kevin Cronin of REO Speedwagon.
Oh, I saw that in your bio,
Yes.
and I got really jealous
Why?
because I love REO Speedwagon.
Oh.
Well, it's the nostalgia.
Yes.
I went to go see REO Speedwagon, Loverboy, and Styx at the 5 Point in Irvine, and I was like, REO Speedwagon hasn't missed a beat.
Wait, are
in
you
my
talking
opinion.
like this past summer?
Yeah.
I was there.
Really?
Yeah, my son and I were there.
Oh my
Yes,
gosh.
I become friendly with Tommy Shaw of Styx because
Wow.
because of Parkastathon. He came on one year via FaceTime, and I talked with Tommy Shaw again, a guy that I had his poster on my wall, and now I'm FaceTiming with him, like I'm holding up the phone talking
That's
to him for
silly.
the audience, and we then became, I don't want to say friends because I think that's insanity to say that we are, but friendly, and so we'll text from time to time, and so. Whenever Styx is in town, my son and I go, and Tommy treats us like royalty. And so, I was there. And I'm with you. And so Tommy's done the show, and Kevin Cronin. But Tommy was great. But the thing about Kevin was, he's kind of just a dad first and a musician second. So he was an amazing guest in that we're talking about how the rules of horse, the basketball game, and then he would go, all right, great, and then he'd play a song, and it was mind blowing. It was
That's awesome.
yeah, and so to me, those are the dreams of having these. Paul Reiser, who's a friend, has been on many times, but they have these guys that I grew up as they were my heroes. Paul Reiser was one of my comedy heroes. Rob Reiner is one of my comedy heroes, and then musically, the guys from Kiss and Chicago and Styx and REO are my heroes. So to have them come on my show, it just was like,
It's amazing.
It's
Isn't
a
it
dream come
great?
true.
Yeah.
That's
And-
so cool.
nice.
Yeah, it's really neat.
Yeah.
And I know that, bigger shows, that happens every day on their shows, and maybe they take it for granted. I do not. I'm honored that they took the time to come and visit with us. And
That's always
thrilled.
nice when people take the time to come visit us. Right?
So
Agreed.
you're,
Yeah,
so
thank
you're
you.
a dad. You're
I am a dad.
You have a son.
I do, 16 years old.
He's 16.
Yeah.
I didn't know he was older than my twins. My twins are turning 16 on the 26th.
Oh, yeah, he turned
But I
16 in September. So he's just, they're the same age,
Okay,
basically.
so is he a sophomore?
He is
in
a
high
junior.
school? Oh, he's a junior
Yeah, because his
already.
birthday was on the, however
yeah,
that works.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
And you've been married to your lovely wife, Danielle, for how long?
It will be 20 years. So I guess it's 19 years, going on 20 years.
Oh, that's so.
Wow.
Okay. Did you get married in
No, I'm
04?
sorry. It's going to be 25 years. We got
Oh.
married in 2004.
Oh, yeah. So did
Oh,
I.
that'll be 20
So, Yeah,
years.
you'll be married 20 years.
Yeah.
You've probably been together.
We're together
longer.
25 years.
Oh, my God. Jimmy, same.
When were you married?
I got married in 2004. February
You guys should
2004.
have gotten married.
You think so? You know what? I'm in. If you want to be, Stefan, I mean this sincerely. If you want to, at some point when your husband's gone and Danielle's gone, you want to make a pact. I just tell you, Rachel Quaintance is already number one.
Oh.
And then Janet Varney and Andrea Savage. Those are the
That's
three.
a lot in front of me.
Yeah, you got a lot to work. Yeah,
That's
you
not
got to hope
fair.
a lot of people.
That's yeah.
You guys got
that's-
sober
that's
at the
weird.
same time. You
Yeah,
guys-
we
know,
started
how-
stand up at the same time.
Yeah.
I don't know what
Got
year you were
married?
born, but we're probably close.
66
What year? What month?
July.
Oh, July what?
July
Oh my
5th.
God.
I'm July 28th.
No.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So crazy.
This is banana times.
so
Look at the fun we
weird.
just had.
Oh my God. Now, your wife, Danielle, is super funny. I also did stand up. I mean, she was like, I think, an open micer with me.
Yeah, and then she wrote on
well.
your talk show.
She was a writer on my talk show, and I know that you're our guest right now, but I just want to say, Danielle is a freaking hilarious, talented writer. So Lynette was on my show too. She was in the circle time thing. So Danielle came in as a writer and was so good, and she was like handling my monologues, and she was just a master at it. And it was a hard thing to do, which I know that sounds kind of like, oh, it's just really hard to get my voice. But there's, certain people can just lock into somebody's voice.
Yes.
And so sometimes I'd have to go to Danielle after she was not working for us anymore, because she had taken another job. She would have come back, but she got a
you
different,
guys had like a third season that she wasn't a part
and then
of, right?
we brought her in as a consultant. No, second season she was already working. She couldn't do it.
What was she doing?
She was something for Disney.
Yeah, I think it
want
was
to
a
say.
Disney program, yeah.
So we asked her if she would consult. Like, we paid her extra because we needed her, and she was busy
shame
doing
when
this
that
other
happens.
job. She could not be full time on our show, so we hired somebody else. But I would take monologues, and I'd be like, Danielle, can you fix this? And I'd send it to her, and she would send it back to me in like a couple hours, and it would be like, huh, that's funny.
Right.
It's funny. Thank you.
Yeah, she is. She has an amazing talent to write in somebody else's voice. Like, she's really, really good at that.
Yeah.
And
She's a solid joke writer.
She's
She's
amazing.
cute as a button.
yes,
Well, then she must be busy all the time, because people like that usually have work. No.
we're coming out of a strike,
No, it's true.
so she's like a lot of folks is looking at the moment.
Yeah.
But she should be hired by everybody, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
but
I think
she's
she is
good.
amazingly talented.
So
and
you
I'm lucky.
met her doing stand up?
I met her at a friend's birthday party. Here's the romantic version. You want the romantic version?
No.
Sure.
I want
Okay.
the real version.
Well, no, this is the real version.
Oh,
This is
okay.
the real / romantic version.
Oh, okay.
It was at St. Nick's. Remember that bar over on 3rd Street?
You sure do.
And it was my friend Mike Siegel's birthday party. And I walked in.
I know
And
Mike Siegel too.
very
Yeah.
handsome man, very
Very
funny man.
cute guy, yeah.
I walk in to, and I have photographs from this day, looking horrible, bloated, and my clothes are ill-fitting. Like, I just was a mess. And
What year?
what year would this have been?
Well,
Danielle and I got together
99?
in 08, so maybe
well, you didn't get
no,
together
1990,
in 08.
1998. I misspoke.
Yeah.
So late 96 maybe?
Okay.
I mean, maybe 97, right in that area. So I walk in, I see Mike, but behind Mike, in the distance, I see a girl. She claims it was orange. I claim it was red sweater. And I'm not kidding you. I said, who is that girl? She's the most beautiful girl I've ever seen. I will marry her someday. And then another guy who's gone nuts, Jimmy Dore, came up and said, hey, this is my girlfriend, Danielle. And I was like, wah, wah. And then
I didn't know that
I
they
waited
were
them out.
girlfriend and boyfriend.
Yeah, for a little while.
And
then
you waited them out?
They broke up. I waited, I want to say close to a year. And then I asked her on a date, and we have been together ever since.
Wow.
And I am forever grateful. She's the greatest.
That's awesome. That is romantic.
Yeah.
And so she remembers meeting you, though, even though she was already with Jimmy Dore.
Oh, yeah. How do you forget me? I'm charming. I'm wonderful.
So did she feel some sparks? But she was like, oh, I already have a boyfriend.
I think, look, I don't know that, but I think that eventually there were, because we would, to your point about stand-up, we would run into each other. We had the same management. So we'd run into each other at stand-up showcases, and there was flirting, and there was, and then I'd see her at auditions, and there was flirting. And one time I ran into her just by chance at a gas station, and there was flirting, and I'm like, and I was in my head going, I got to ask her out. I got to ask this girl out. And I was like, but she's too good for me. She's too pretty for me. She's this, she's that. And then eventually I just asked her out, and again, here we are, 25 years later.
Wow.
And,
it's so funny that you say she was wearing red and she said she was wearing orange, because I feel like guys are a little colorblind.
They are.
What's wrong with you guys?
Well, maybe the
don't
lighting
know.
was bad. How about
That's
that?
true.
And by the way, clearly she's right. You know what I mean? She knows what sweater she was wearing.
Right.
And if it was orange, it was orange. But
Yeah, it
in
could've
my
been.
head, it was red. And
That's cute.
I got to sing Krista Berg's Lady in Red. And that was a big, to myself, crying in the car home because I'm sad and drunk. And she's got this boyfriend. Which may or may not have been true. Me driving from St. Nick's back here to the Valley.
Well, it's a good thing she got rid of Jimmy Dore.
Yeah, I think Jimmy's doing great these days. He's out of his skull. He's nuts.
Yeah.
He's nuts.
Yeah. He's a big anti-vaxxer,
Okay.
COVID. He's one of those guys that went so far to the left. It's the Bernie bro gone bad syndrome. It's that you go so far to the left that then you become extremist.
Yeah,
on
it's
the other
that
side.
horseshoe
But
thing where you're there.
Yeah.
And he's gone, woohoo! That said, bought a compound. So he's got his, like that whole group of, I'll use Hillary's words, basket of deplorables. He's got his basket of deplorables that listen to him and
they do.
believe that conspiracy theory horseshit.
Right.
Yeah,
And,
exactly.
Haven't spoken to him since before the 2016 election. That's not true. Said hello to him at Flappers and, hey, Jim. And I went, oh, how you doing, Jim? And then I walked to my car. That was it.
That was it.
What am I going to say? Hey, what do you think of Fauci? I mean, what do you say to an anti-vax wacko? I mean, I got nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'm not going to do that. You got to listen to what they say and you got to understand. No. I'm not going to both sides it with a whack job.
Right.
The problem is that he doesn't do both sides even anymore. He's not even like Joe Rogan, who will entertain a conversation. Not that I'm pro Joe Rogan, but I'm saying he's just like, no, this is how it is, and anybody else, you're absolutely wrong.
Yeah.
And like you're sheep. If
We're
is
sheep.
the way it is.
Yeah, agreed.
Anyway,
It's weird to see a guy that I started stand up with and. We all have our own paths, and then to see like that's okay. That's the path you've chosen,
Right.
to be a grifter. Good
Right.
luck.
Yeah.
And
Because
it sounds like your wife dodged a bullet there.
I think
too.
so.
That's what I'm saying.
But then she stuck with my nonsense. So yeah. So I'm not pleasant.
So dad life.
Yes.
How's that going? How has it has it softened your comedy in any way?
Oh no, it hasn't softened my comedy in any way. My son and I know we're parents, and we all say this, but I mean, he's the nicest person I've ever met in my life. Like he's just a good dude, and he's kind, and he's considerate.
He's artistic.
He's very artistic.
He makes these
Not anymore, but he did. Yeah, he would out of paper. He would make action figures. Like if you ordered hey, I want for Christmas, I want to make an action figure of Stef, of Stefanie. Can Oliver do that? And then Oliver would would charge you a ridiculously low price, and then would make it, and it looks just like her, and it looks like an action figure.
Crazy.
It's
and
the
it has
greatest
packaging.
That's amazing.
It's
He
really
puts
great.
it in
I
packaging
love that.
like tells you what the character is and
Wow.
like it's real, like you're
Wow.
buying it at Target.
Where does he get that from?
That's a great question. It's not me, and it's certainly not Danielle.
Weird.
Ouch.
I don't know where he gets it from, but he's amazingly funny. He's probably going to go into this business, which I am doing everything in my power to there's other things out there, son. And but I think it's in his bones.
Yeah.
He comes from. I mean, I'm a comic. Danielle's a comic. His father, has a star on the Walk of Fame. His grandfather, rather, my father-in-law.
He's from Star Trek.
Oh.
Danielle's father is
Walter Koenig, who was Chekhov on the original Star Trek.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, sci-fi royalty.
Right.
And a great actor. And my mother-in-law, who's since passed away, was a great actress. And my brother-in-law, Andrew, was on Growing Pains. He was a great actor.
Oh
So
my
it's in
gosh.
Oliver's blood. So
Yes.
it's like he...
Yes.
I mean, again, we know how awful this business could be. But I think he's going into it. And
Yeah.
I can't fight it.
he looking at colleges?
He
right?
is.
Have you gone on some college tours?
We have.
This is
That's
a big
what I'm
theme for
doing.
me and
Oh,
Lynette.
how old are yours?
I have twins, boy-girl twins, 17.
Oh, they're 17. And
Yeah.
yes, we're getting you're already here? You're touring so early. And it's like, I went into a panic because I saw a post on Facebook. I just took a tour.
I
And
know.
as a sophomore? He's a junior. And I panicked, and Danielle and I booked a bunch of tours.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
we get
Where'd
there,
you
they're
go? Where have you gone? UCs?
We've done the UCs. We've done the Occidental, which is local. And I think he's going out to Chapman. Film school. He wants to go into film school.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Okay.
So it's right?
It is. It's interesting.
It's
and to think that they're going to be out there by themselves.
Oh, I don't like that.
I know.
I'm going to be sad and lonely when my son leaves.
I know.
I want him to be local. Listen, I want him to live I want him to experience college. I want him to go.
Right.
But I want him to be local so that his dad, when he's sad on a Sunday can call up and go, "Want to get together for lunch, son?"
Yeah.
And then I'm going to be I'm going to be the man in Catching the Cradle, where it's like he doesn't have time for me anymore.
Right.
And it's like, oh
Right.
no, and
Yeah.
I'll sit there.
UCLA.
I hope.
That would be nice.
Or Occidental, or USC,
Yeah.
or even Chapman, which is in Irvine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if he's local, we can get together for lunch, and then
That would be nice.
Yeah.
he can.
My kids want to go out of state.
Do they?
Both of them. Yeah.
Both of them.
Yeah.
Want to get far away. And do they want to get into show business as well?
My son wants to, he's been doing podcasting for about 5 years. He does
Okay.
a sports show and
Called
he's-
Benchwarmers.
Benchwarmers. And he wants to do sports broadcasting.
Great.
Yeah. Yeah. So
And then is there? My friend Jason Benetti, who was just the play-by-play guy for the White Sox, and now he's just moved on to the Tigers. He went to Syracuse for sports broadcasting. So I don't know if
that was his first choice.
was that
My
it?
husband went to Syracuse, and my brother went to Syracuse.
Oh,
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like that's the spot then.
Maybe. We'll see.
Well,
I think it
nope,
might
I
be
think
a
it's
little
decided.
too cold.
No, it's Syracuse.
Yeah. All right.
Well, you have to let us know what happens with Oliver when
Okay.
he's in
Yeah.
college.
Yeah.
He applies to and gets into. And I'm going to see you when I come to your podcast, I think in January. But so Never Not Funny.
Yes.
What else do you want to plug?
Oh, I have a web
Social media?
series.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Called Jimmy's Records and Tapes, where I just kind of rant for 10 minutes about my whatever the topic is, my 5 favorite songs that feature the harmonica.
So you're back in the record business.
I'm back in the biz. And that didn't explode like I wanted it to. I thought that was going to go viral, and I'd be one of those dudes that, it gets a couple thousand views, but I enjoy doing it. And
So what's it called? Say it again. What's
it's
it
called
again?
Jimmy's Records and Tapes.
Okay.
That's cool.
Okay.
And it's just dumb fun. It's just me. It's my 5 favorite, movies about music, or my 5 favorite. I did 5 favorite Chicago songs, or 5 favorite.
Oh, that's awesome.
Songs that are horrible but you still love them. Like Kokomo.
I love that. I'm going to watch it. So
Oh,
is
they're fun.
Is it on your website?
It's on YouTube, but the link's on my website certainly. Yeah,
Okay. So your website is
JimmyPardo.com.
okay. JimmyPardo.com.
Yeah.
Never Not Funny. And which is absolutely true. You are never not funny.
Unless I'm
loved
talking
having
very
you.
seriously, which I seem to have done this morning, and I
you
apologize.
haven't.
You're
What are you
8.
talking about?
We-
had a lot of
we
laughs.
enjoy-
I'm a really?
You're,
You're
yes.
lying to my face.
That's not
You're compensating
true.
for the way that Leno treated me.
Kaylin, he was
Very
funny,
funny.
No,
right?
you're full of lies. I was very serious, and I took this interview very, very seriously.
Bullshit. And Kaylin, who doesn't laugh very easily, it takes a lot to make
That's true.
Kaylin actually laugh over there.
Oh, well, then I'm very honored.
I was looking at him many times. He was cracking up.
All right, I don't need to be coddled. I was just making
Damn it!
I was
Get
just.
the fuck out of here.
Well, I don't care for that language, but all right. I'm honored to have been here. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, Jimmy. Thank you.
Oh, my pleasure.
Bye,
All right,
everybody.
bye, everybody.